If you could change any choices you have ever made, would you? You can always make another choice and change the course of your success. Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here is the host of Inspired Choices radio show, Holographist coach, Christine McIver.
Well, welcome, everyone. That's right. It's Christine McIver on the Inspired Choices radio show. I'm so happy that you are here. If you're listening live, I'd love for you to join us in the chat room. Just come on over to inspiredchoicesnetwork.com, and you'll see that on the menu bar, and we can play together in real time. Or if you are listening on demand in one of our more than 50 podcast platforms, I am so grateful that you chose to tune in. So tonight we have a great show, something that's really been coming up in my world when I'm working with clients, and something that I am sure anybody that does social media, whether it's for personal or business, has actually been tweaked by this. So tonight's show is called Are You Hooked on Likes? Oh my gosh, I can't wait to dive into this, and I can't wait to hear your experiences of this as well. What's going on for you, and you know, we're going to get really vulnerable in tonight's show because we need to get to the truth of what we're experiencing, what each of us are experiencing, in order to change all of this. You know, being triggered by anything can be incredibly overwhelming and unkind. And if you're doing this for business, if you're doing, you know, a lot of your social media interaction, if a big part of that or even a small part of that is for business, this show is going to be showing you what can actually be occurring and maybe even limiting you in your business. So before we dive in, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I am a holographist coach, and what that really means is I work with individuals and organizations to look at what they desire right here, right now, and we step into it. We begin to embody everything that you desire, and we create in real time. We start to take real action right now to change all of your desires, whatever those desires are, whether they are personal or they are business. And as we begin to step into your, real desires, we begin to put in place new ways of thinking, new ways of being, systems, whatever it is that's required to actualize your desires. I have had more than 10 years of being in I guess it's 12, I'm going on 13 years of being in my own business. I've been in the business world for, more years than I can count right at the moment. And doing business is something that lights me up big time. It's one of my greatest joys to work in business. And if you've never heard this story before, I'll tell you, when I was a little girl, I used to go into my father's office. He had his own construction business, and I would go into his office when he wasn't there. And my younger brother would come into the office with me, and I always sat at my dad's desk, and my younger brother always had to sit at the smaller desk, and he had to work on the adding machine, and I would sit at the big desk with my dad's briefcase. I always knew that I was going to be a boss, and I always knew that is what really spoke to me, was about really stepping into the energy of creation. And this is what I get to do. I get to speak to people around the world who also desire to turn up their business and turn up their desires. And so if this speaks to you, if you're looking to turn things up more in your life and do it quickly, reach out to me. I give everybody that does reach out a half an hour just to see if it's a match for the two of us. And then we look at what would really work for you as far as a program goes. And we begin to change things very, very quickly. So you can connect with me at Christine at inspiredchoices.ca. You can check out my personal website, inspiredchoices.ca. Or if you're listening on demand, you can always check me out at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com, which is one of my business creations as well. So that's all about me. Well, a little bit about me. So let's get into tonight's show. So tonight we're talking about, are you hooked on likes? Have you been hooked on likes for your creations? Do you require acknowledgement in order to create and create again and create again? What if this, the needing the acknowledgement, is the very thing that is holding you back from creating your business greater than you have ever before? What if the likes are actually your true saboteur? Oh boy, this is a biggie. So hands up, how many people love it when you get a like? I'm raising my hand. How about you? Whether you're putting up a personal picture or you're putting up, a joke, or you're putting up something regarding your business. When somebody likes it, when somebody follows your page, when somebody asks you to be a friend, do you feel that sense of excitement and acknowledgement and that surge within you from that like, right? It's really addictive, isn't it? It can really, really become addictive. And it can become something that can control you as well. Very few people have I spoken to when it comes to social media haven't said some of the following. 1, I hate social media. 2, I don't want to have to do that stuff for my business. And 3, it doesn't matter what I do, I don't get any traffic from it. Have you experienced any or all of those emotions? Whether you've acknowledged them or not, do they feel true for you? Social media has been designed to trigger you, to really hook you in and keep you hooked in. Okay? I want to say this again. Social media has been designed to trigger you and to hook you and keep you hooked in. It doesn't matter what platform it is. Every platform over the years has continually morphed into something that would draw you in and keep you drawn in to stay engaged on that platform. So please know that if you haven't really been consciously aware, being very super present to what's being created right there, and you're being triggered by the likes or the lack thereof, you've just been pulled into the design. Okay, you've been pulled into the actual creation purpose. As long as one of these social media platforms keeps you engaged on their platform, they can get your attention and they can drive more things in your direction that you enjoy to try to actually have you want to stay longer because you're liking what you're seeing, and also to sell you, right? So it is no secret that people purchase ads on social media platforms. I mean, it's a great way to advertise and promote, okay? And so the platforms themselves want to keep you engaged on that platform so that they can filter these ads to you. And when you choose to click on those ads and or purchase from those ads, engage, maybe follow somebody in a group, attend an event, when any of those ads get any responses from you, then the social media platform, actually sell more to their customers. Okay? So we're their clients, but someone that's purchasing the ads are their customers. All right? So I want to make that really, really clear about what's going on these platforms. So the likes are there to keep you hooked. But what actually is happening for many of us that are in our own businesses is we are getting hooked on the likes. We are buying into the lie that people aren't seeing our posts. How many of you have put posts out there and nobody has liked it, loved it, had any reaction to it, right? If you're in business, I would bet for sure every single person has had that experience. Now, let me ask you, as a client, as somebody who's just scrolling through the platform, have you seen posts and not liked them? Of course, right? We all do that. Well, guess what? Many of the people that are seeing your posts are not liking them. Now, it doesn't mean that they do or they don't like them. It's just that they're not taking an action, okay? So keep that in mind, please. There's many, I don't know what the percentage is. I would guess that there's probably at least 40%, if not higher, amount of people that are on social media that are not engaging, okay? That they are just silently viewing things, all right? For whatever reason, they don't want a reaction from somebody. They feel like, oh my gosh, if they know I'm watching them, they might try to push products or services at me. I don't want to like that person's, and then my friend who has the same type of business sees me liking that. People do things for crazy reasons, right? But this is why sometimes people will not be actually engaging. And like I said, I'm sure that it's more than 40% of people are not engaging. Now, we also know that many people that we are friends with, we don't see what's going on their pages, and therefore they're not seeing what's going on ours. Okay? Take all of this into consideration, my friends, and now look at you as the customer who's advertising on social media, who's putting up an event on social media, who is actually putting up maybe a social media meme and inviting people to connect with you or try your product or service, all right? When they are not liking your product or service or event, whatever it is that you're putting out there, how many of you have decided that business isn't working for you? How many of you have decided that, I must be doing this wrong? How many of you have decided that you're not good at business based on the interactions or lack thereof on social media? Right? So many. I coach people in business, and I have been doing for years now. And I have had this conversation more times than I can actually bring to mind how many times. This is such a huge piece of twisting up people who are self-employed, entrepreneurs, creators. It twists them up a great deal. It twists their belief system, and it twists their belief in themselves and in their own businesses and in their own creations. It's so important for you to recognize what is going on for you. Acknowledge, as I'm talking about these things, what are the reactions you're experiencing? Do you have a little bit of tightness in your abdomen? Is your throat kind of squeezing together? Do you want to kind of even run away? Like, am I triggering you by what I'm saying? Do you want to kind of turn off the audio right now? I want to really ask you and invite you and challenge you to lean into this. Because what I know is that if something is triggering you, there is a huge gift in here that's going to contribute. And I know absolutely 1,000% that people are hooked on likes, and especially businesses. We're going to go for our first break of the show. When we get back, I'm really going to dive in deeper into what is actually happening for you in your business, what is actually happening for you in your creations when you are hooked on the likes, whether you are a little hooked on likes or you are gigantically hooked on likes. I really want to tell you what's happening and how the impact that is having on your businesses and your creations. Okay, so please stick around and come join us. I'd love to hear your questions and your thoughts in the chat room. And when we get back, as I said, we're going to dive in even deeper. So you're listening to Inspired Choices with myself, Christine McIver, here on the Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices Radio Show with holographist coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices Radio Show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with holographist coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining and for sticking around. So before we went to break, we were talking about how we are impacted and really how we get hooked and how it's designed to hook us with the likes on social media. So here's what I know about what actually gets created in your business when you are hooked on social media. I'm going to take you back to the very first time you thought about going into business or you thought about creating something, right? Can you just close your eyes for a second? Please don't if you're driving. But can you just close your eyes for a second and tap into that moment? Tap into that moment where there was that idea started to actualize and how you started to get very excited, right? Oh my gosh, I could do this and I could do this. And you could see it starting to come together in your mind's eye. And all the ideas started to flood in, right? Tap into that. What a delicious moment that is. And I will tap into that moment for myself again and again because it's a beautiful thing to do. What it actually does as you tap into that moment of creation, as it started to unfold, it re-energizes and reinsurges the excitement into your business. It's kind of like when you look at a child and you just give them all of your love and attention and gratitude, and you don't even have to say a word. So tap right into that moment, right? Now imagine that as you started to create your creation, maybe you're an artist, maybe you're a sculptor, maybe you're someone who is, I don't know, maybe you have a landscape company and you can just see all the amazing things you're going to do, whatever your business is, and you start to actualize maybe a website and you start to get excited about the pictures and the content and everything's starting to come to life and you're starting to talk to people about it and you're getting really pumped up about the day that you actually launch it all, right? And then the day that you launch it, because you have friends and family that love you and adore you, and we all have super fans, whether we have a business or not, and you share it with the super fans first, right? And they're like, oh my God, that's amazing, Christine, I'm so excited for you, this is fantastic. And they really cheer you on, and all of a sudden you are standing tall and you're walking tall and your shoulders are back and you are feeling so empowered that you followed those nudges within you and you followed that creation energy and you leaned into it and you said yes to you. Oh my gosh, how amazing is it? And then you put it out on Facebook, or you put it out on Instagram, or you put it out on LinkedIn, and suddenly, again, your super fans, your people that love and adore you, they're cheering you on, and they're liking, and they're following your pages, and they're excited, and you're excited, and then you put your first creation out there to something that you want to promote. Right? You want to promote an event, or you want to promote a product or a service, and you put it out there, and silence, and silence, and silence. Did you feel the energy just start to drift out of the balloon of excitement? Have you had that experience? I would guess that you did. I would guess that disappointment energy starts to flow in, and then you're thinking, what is wrong with what happened? With what I just created? Why is no one liking it? Why is no one choosing it? Right? And you start to take out the excitement energy. You start to pull away, and you start to feel discouraged and disappointed in your business, right? Well, my friends, one of the things that we all did, and I'm going to use the word wrong, but there's nothing wrong, but one of the things that we did wrong is we put expectation into promotion on social media. Now, I want to tell you something. I teach social media. I work with businesses to show them how to incorporate social media with ease and with joy. But we also put expectations on social media. And guess what happens when you put expectations on social media to feed your business? The minute you put that expectation on and it doesn't deliver with whatever those expectations are, maybe you expected to have the same euphoria and level of excitement as you did when you started your creations, right? When you didn't have people respond at that same level. What you actually do is you start to pull away, you start to separate from your business. Listen to what I said. You start to separate from your business, and you start to judge. You start to judge your business, and you start to judge your creations, as well as judging you. Now, whenever judgment and expectations start to dance together, you know that is a cocktail. It's really a suicide cocktail for businesses, because it starts to kill the businesses. It starts to kill the creations. Actually, this show tonight originally was going to be called Likes Are Suicide. And that's what really popped for me earlier this week when I was talking with a client, when I was working with a client, because the likes are controlling you, and the likes are controlling your belief system in yourself. The likes are controlling the belief system in your businesses, and the likes are controlling the belief system with your creations. They are absolutely starting to kill your creations because you have put a great deal of weight on what the return on that investment is going to be in social media. And I'm telling you that if you put all of your eggs in those baskets, in those social media baskets, if you put them all in just the posting of your events and the posting of your creations, you are going to be very disappointed in the results. Now, here's something that I absolutely know people are doing is they're creating posts, they're creating events, they're creating whatever it is that they're doing on social media, they're creating it. And when they're creating it and they are not getting the results, they are then pulling back. They're pulling back on creating more, on posting more. Okay? They pull back. And then they maybe go and lick their wounds for a few days, maybe a week, or maybe even a month or more. And then, something inspires them, which is awesome. And then they go and they post it again. And the same cycle starts to kick in. Okay? They get disappointed. They've got this expectation and desire wrapped up in the posts. And when it doesn't happen, boom, it's now another suicide cocktail for your business. And they pull back. One of the most important things about social media, okay, is consistency. Consistency is number one on social media because there are things called algorithms. You don't need to know how they operate. That's not important. What you need to remember is that there are algorithms, and as you are posting and you continuously are posting and interacting on your page and with people in your page and people that you invite to your events and posting in your events, when you're doing that consistent interaction, you are, quote unquote, busting the algorithms, which means you are showing up more frequently on your followers, on your people that like your page, on your connections in social media. You are showing up on their pages more often. So consistency is key. Consistency is key. Now, here's the thing. You don't have to be doing a huge creation every single solitary time you go on social media. But being consistent and at least daily posting something in your business, you will bust the algorithms. Okay? You can be posting a small picture. You could be uploading a video. Do upload. Don't just drop in a YouTube link. That's a different story. I'll explain later. But you could just be writing a comment. You could be asking maybe a survey. You could be sharing an aha in your business. You could be doing a Facebook Live, an Instagram Live. There are so many opportunities for you to interact. They don't have to take a long time. There's all sorts of tips and tricks to help you become engaged and understand these processes with ease. This is really important for you to get. Before social media, before the internet, the way that we actually interacted with people is we met them at social events. We met them at church. We met them at dances. We met them at, the city hall events. We promoted our businesses in newspaper, the local newspaper that everybody got, right, in a small area of our geography where we lived. We now have businesses that are online where we can interact with people and sell to people and have customers that are situated all over the world. And absolutely amazing if you have a business like that today during COVID, right? Because your business can actually continue with ease. But when you're getting hooked on the likes and you're measuring your success based on the likes, your business will absolutely start to falter, okay? If you've been doing that, acknowledging that is actually number one. That's what's most important. And you are normal because remember, the system has been set up. The system has been set up to do that to you, okay? So what's so critical is for you to begin to take a different approach with social media. Begin to recognize what the value in it and recognize what is actually happening for you with the likes. As you acknowledge that, you can begin to change that, okay? We're up for our second break of the show. When we get back, we're going to dive in even deeper. We're going to continue to talk about what's really happening with these likes and how these likes are controlling us. We're going to talk about the ego, about vanity, and about how we can actually use these things to our advantage. All right, my friends, you're listening to Inspired Choices with myself, Christine McIver, here on the Inspired Choices Network, and we will be right back. Stay tuned.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices Radio Show with holographist coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices Radio Show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you ready to have pleasure with your business? Yes, I said pleasure with your business. The Pleasure of Business a la carte will surprise you with topics like meet yourself in the boardroom, money, services, and you. Expand your visibility. The pleasure of communication. The pleasure of Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Christine McIver has so much pleasure with business and loves teaching all things business. Beginning a new business? Desiring to expand a current business? Or looking to resurrect a business that has been dormant? This program will get you fired up and bring more pleasure than you have ever imagined. Exhausted with your excuses for not creating a phenomenal business? Join now for all the pleasure with business. Pleasure of Business a la carte gives you total choice for what you desire and what your business requires. That's 24 weeks of different topics to choose from with weekly calls, audio and video recordings, and PDFs. This class will have you dive right in and use tools to create the business that has been speaking to you. Go to inspiredchoices.ca for full details or join the Facebook page Pleasure of Business a la carte. Now is the time for you and your business.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with holographist coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine at inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for joining tonight. Wow, we've been having a show that really is speaking to, I think, many, many business owners out there, and certainly has been speaking to me for some time. So we're talking about, are you hooked on likes? Now, before we get back into tonight's show, I want to tell you about a special that I have. I work with businesses, as I've said, and I actually do a strategic business interaction with business owners, where I look at all the areas, the totality of your business, what direction you want to go in, what's not been working, what has been working, find the gaps, and start to actually move you forward to have a plan for the next 6 months, the next year, to grow your business. Now, that we have on special right now. You can get that at inspiredchoices.ca. You can get 7 7 sessions with me, one-on-one, and I work with you and your business for only $1,000 Canadian. Now, that's a savings of over 50% from my normal pricing. So if this is something that you would love to have, if you would really love to have someone work with you one-on-one to really find where you need to, like where the gaps are, even to find where the gaps are, and to learn how to do these things with pleasure, how to work with your business both online and one-on-one with clients, I would love to connect with you. I'd love to be a support for you. I love working with businesses. As I said earlier, this is the thing that so lights me up and turns me on. So if you're Canadian, it's $1,000 Canadian. If you're in most other countries, it's going to be a good bit less than that. For instance, all of our U.S., you're probably looking at a 30% savings. So it's an incredible deal for someone that's going to come to the table with all the business experience that I have and share it with you to move you and your business forward. Okay, so let's get back to the show. So before the break, we were talking about how your belief systems actually impact your business, and your belief systems, especially when whatever expectation you have with social media, how it can impact your business. One of the big things that is being triggered within you is your ego, all right? Your ego wants to be liked. Your ego wants to be accepted. Your ego wants to be included. There's nothing wrong with any of that, but that can actually be the saboteur that turns around and says, to hell with this. This is ridiculous. Social media isn't worth it. I'm not getting anywhere. And it's kind of like that 3-year-old that takes their ball and goes home, right? That's what so many people in business are doing, is they're saying no to social media, and that is driven by their expectations. There is a really big piece that most business owners miss when they're looking at doing social media, doing their business on social media. And that really, really big piece is the one-on-one connection, all right? When people are really talking about, something went viral and it had 1,000 likes, 100 likes, it had 1 million likes and all this stuff, immediately everybody starts to look in their corner and they go, well, I haven't even had 10 people like it, or I haven't even had 100 people like it. And everybody starts to do the comparison game, okay? The comparison game is a hook. It's another hook, because what you're doing is you're judging what is good and what isn't good. I can tell you something. For most people that have had something go, quote unquote, viral, okay, they may have a very small percentage of those people actually interact with them, actually purchase from them, actually work with them. A small percentage, all right? It's kind of like a flash in the pan, right? It's something that's attractive and engaging, just very, very quickly comes across somebody's screen, and they're like, oh, that's really cool, and look at all the people that have liked it. Well, I'm going to check it out. Okay, cool, I'll like it too, right? People do all of these very cool things, and there's nothing wrong with this, okay? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this, but I want you to understand, when somebody has all that many likes, that is not equaling business, okay? Likes do not equal business. But I'll tell you what does equal business is your actual communion with other people. The way that you interact with others, the way that you actually connect with someone, okay? Connecting with someone, like I said years ago before social media, we actually went out to networking events. We made connections with people. We went to, City Hall or the PTA, or we went to a dance and we talked face to face with someone, and we shared with someone what we were doing, and hopefully we started to learn about that person and what they did and what they were interested in, and we started to create a relationship with someone. All right. And in creating the relationship with someone, we started to expand their understanding of us and our understanding of them. We created a relationship. So what is missing from most people's social media interaction is relationship. You have to include relationship in all of your interactions in your business in order for someone to engage and desire to choose to work with you. Makes sense, right? Look at yourself. This is what I always do, is whenever I'm doing something in business, I imagine what would it be like if someone was actually doing this with me or saying this to me? How would I be responding? When someone does that, how do I respond? And that's kind of my test in seeing, does this really make sense? Is this really going to be something that's going to be engaging with other people? So this is a big piece of it, is creating a relationship. Ask yourself right now, do you create relationships with people who are connected with you in your business? People who are connected with you in your business pages? People who interact with you, who like and follow? Do you create relationships? Or do you just sit silent and then send something their way, i.e., push something out, so that in hopes that they will choose it? Well, most of us have been taught to create, and get it out there and, get it all flashy and do all these things. Create. Just keep doing it, and you'll get more and more and more and more and more. Yeah, that's one way of doing it. And what I know that creates is exhaustion from trying to create, trying to get interaction from those people. And the more genuine, authentic way, and a much more inviting for you and your body and people that are interested and looking for you, is by creating relationships. Okay? I really, really mean this. I am the owner of Inspired Choices Network, the media platform, and whenever I'm talking to my hosts, when they first start out, and they're like, because we have a live interactive chat room, they often say, how do I get people to come and join in the chat room? And the key is, invite them personally. Reach out to them personally and say, hey, Susan, would you like to come play with me tonight in the chat room? I'm doing a show about this. And as you do that, and as you have communication with Susan may come back and say, oh, I'm sorry, Christine, I can't tonight. I'm doing this with the kids, or I'm busy with that. And the way that you respond and interact with her after that moment can really speak to how she will interact with you again. So I would say, well, thanks for letting me know, Susan. I hope you can maybe join me another time. And just wait. And Susan will come back and say, sure, I'd love to. Great. Would it be okay if I invited you next week? Yes, please do. Awesome. This is my topic for next week. I'd love your thoughts on it. Talk to her. Have a communication. Don't just throw things at someone. Now, here's a really big key, my friends, and I want you, yes, Jen's in the chat room saying, preach, sister, exactly. What I want you to think about, because we're going to take our last break of the show, what I want you to think about right now is I want you to think about how can you create a relationship with people that you are interacting with, people that are connected with you on social media. And let's just talk about Facebook right now. It can be any of the platforms. Same thing goes. Okay? How can you create a relationship with them that starts to really grow? Think about that. And when we get back, I'm going to I'm going to show you how to trick your brain from really the hook of the numbers, okay? Because the numbers are the thing that are really throwing people off. And I know this personally because I did the exact same thing. So stay tuned, everyone. You are listening to Inspired Choices with myself, Christine McIver, on the Inspired Choices Network. When we get back, we're going to wrap up tonight's show, but I've got some real big keys to share with you, so don't go away. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices Radio Show with holographist coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices Radio Show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you ready to have pleasure with your business? Yes, I said pleasure with your business. The pleasure of business a la carte will surprise you with topics like meet yourself in the boardroom, money, services, and you. Expand your visibility. The pleasure of communication. The pleasure of Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Christine McIver has so much pleasure with business and loves teaching all things business. Beginning a new business? Desiring to expand a current business? Or looking to resurrect a business that has been dormant? This program will get you fired up and bring more pleasure than you have ever imagined. Exhausted with your excuses for not creating a phenomenal business? Join now for all the pleasure with business. Pleasure of Business a la carte gives you total choice for what you desire and what your business requires. That's 24 weeks of different topics to choose from with weekly calls, audio and video recordings, and PDFs. This class will have you dive right in and use tools to create the business that has been speaking to you. Go to inspiredchoices.ca for full details or join the Facebook page, Pleasure o' Business a la carte. Now is the time for you and your business.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with holographist coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine at inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. How are you doing? We've been covering a lot of material tonight, but you know what? It's all really worth it. And I hope you're still with me. So we are talking about, we're talking about the likes. So we're talking about social media, and are you hooked on the likes? Oh my gosh. Well, we know, first of all, that the likes are really, they're really tapping into, they're hooking us, having us buy into that people aren't choosing us. Well, we know now that we have to create a real relationship. Now, how do we do that, right? This is one of the biggest tools. I don't know about you, but I love a calculator. I have always, always, always loved a calculator, and I teach my clients to play with the calculators all the time, all right? Because we're hooked on the numbers, right? We're hooked on how many people like, how many people interact, how many comments we get. We're always looking at these numbers, and it's no surprise that they keep these things up right at the very top, always in our face. Do you notice that on social media, those things don't change? The numbers are always front and center. Okay, so what I want to really talk to you about is, have you actually broken down have you actually broken down how many customers you actually require to hit your targets every single month? All right? So if you are someone, I'm just going to pull a number out of the sky. If you're someone that wants to make $50,000 a year, and it doesn't matter which currency this is, if you're someone that wants to make $50,000 a year and you divide that by 52, what you want to make is let's call it $962 a week. Now let's divide 962 by 5, okay? So that works out to $192.40 a day. Now, if you have a service, and I'm going to go by, let's say you're a life coach of some sort. You're some kind of coach, okay? If you have a coaching program, and your coaching program is even $75 a day, or $75 an hour, okay? 192 divided by 75 is 2.56. So we're talking about 2.5 clients a day is what you actually require, okay? 2.5 clients a day is what is actually going to have you hit your targets. So 2.5 times 5, right, that works out to 12.5, 12.5 clients a week. Now, we know that we have to interact with more people than will actually choose us, right? But if you are having conversations, and if you don't have the business that's keeping you busy, then my friends, you need to be communicating to create the businesses, okay? You need to be putting more time into communicating one-on-one with people than actually just playing on social media, okay? I'm not saying don't do the posts, and I can show you how to do this with ease. But if you need 12.5 clients a week, then 12.5 clients a day should be how many communications you are having, right? So if you're working a 9-hour day, right, so 60 times 9 is 540 minutes. Divide that by 12.5, you have got 43 minutes per person that you can be communicating with. Now, I know I'm exaggerating, but these are the types of things that I do when I work one-on-one with you. We're just about wrapping up the show, but what I really want you to understand is you've got to find out how much money you want to be making. You've got to find out how many clients that equates to in a week and in a day. And then if you are really employed, you're self-employed, you're an entrepreneur, you should be working at least 8 to 9 hours a day to grow your business. My friends, if you don't have the business walking in the door or you're not interacting with them one-on-one online, then you need to be having those communications. Create the relationships. Imagine if you are creating really fabulous communication back and forth and really fabulous interaction with people every day, 12 people a day, 12 new people a day. Most people have over 1,000 people who they have likes with who are their friends on Facebook. You could take 1,000 people and divide that by 12.5. Hold on, going to do this really fast. That is going to give you 80 weeks of interactions. My friends, you can do this, and this will start to change your likes, and it will start to change the energy and excitement of your business. I'm so grateful that you've been here. Please come back next week. We're going to have another hot topic all about business. And remember, I have that fabulous package, so email me, Christine, at inspiredchoices.ca, and we will start to discuss what it is that can really change you and your business. Until next week, my friends, remember, you could always make another choice. Bye for now.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, be willing to choose what you really desire. This is your life. making the choices that bring you all that you desire.